So this airplane could be the key to keeping hundreds, if not thousands of airplanes flying for years to come. But to do that, we've got to get it started and flying about 300 miles to its new home. But it's been sitting here in Argyle, New York on this dirt-floored hangar with mushrooms growing out of it and groundhog holes for a lot of years. This thing's pretty bad. A few weeks ago, the team from St. Francis Aviation Center reached out to us because they were interested in buying the Comanche 250 that we had found in Arizona. They needed it to train the future generations of aviation mechanics that we really need in general aviation. With so many mechanics getting older, they've been retiring, and we really need new, fresh, young AMPs so we can keep general aviation alive. The Comanche 250 from Arizona was the perfect model for the program, but I'd already promised it to somebody else. I really couldn't get that off my mind. I mean, this education program that I really felt strongly about needed a Comanche, so we went on a hunt. And a few days later, I found the perfect Comanche that Wings of Hope had. They're a nonprofit organization that provides medical air transport services to the community. They had a Comanche listed for sale, and it was just like the one we had in Arizona. So this other Comanche was donated by Richard Lease to help the community through Wings of Hope. Richard owned the Comanche for the last 49 years and is the owner of the airport in Argyle, New York, where the Comanche's been sitting, just waiting for us to come up and rescue it. So I have to admit, when I walked into this hangar and I saw the condition of the floor and I saw the mushrooms growing out of the floor and we saw groundhog holes and we saw this really nice airplane covered tarp with a whole bunch of bird poop over it, I have to admit, I kind of felt like this is the airplane for us. Lots of bird droppings all over. Oh, that is the worst I've ever seen. Now, actually, it really worried me because we got to get this thing out of here. So let's get this uncovered. So the manager here at the airport told us that there were so many birds in here, they just had to put something over top of it so it wasn't getting this so it wasn't getting this slightly used paint too messed up. I do see a couple little concerns, but really other than this completely original paint, I mean, I guarantee this is how it rolled off the showroom. Well, no showroom, but out of the factory in 1962. It looks 100% like original, and I'll bet you it'd polish up. But yeah, you can see here we got a little bit of crazing here where the defroster is. It's normal. The window is actually really clear. The side windows, they look kind of new. Again, the paint, if you look at the wing, you know, it's seen better days, but the seals aren't in bad shape, which is a really good sign. We're going to have to take a look at these bladders then and stuff, but all the labeling's there. It has the extended range tanks, so we got 15 here, and we got 30 here. And one of the really cool things about this is it's a 62. It has pilot side brakes. I know it has a little bit of avionics. I know it does have an autopilot. This is kind of the package that you would want. You got plenty of fuel, 250 horsepower, and the airplane only has 2,300 hours on it. What do you think, Joe?
What did you buy?
Sight unseen, baby. So wingtips needs a little bit of fix there on the wingtips. And we thought when we first came in the hangar, we thought that these were empty. These are all full. I don't know what the shelf life is of Quaker State AD Aviation engine oil, but there's plenty of it here. You think we can use that, Joe? What do you think?
We'll taste it and see.
We'll taste it and see if it's any good. I'm really not seeing any areas of corrosion or anything on top of the surface. I don't know if it looks any different underneath the fuselage or wing because of this dirt floor. But everything up here looks good. It looks solid. Tail looks good. It's
got really good articulation
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It's loose.
Pretty smooth, it looks like.
Yeah, it feels good. So this vertical was replaced at one time, and I think the old vertical, if I remember seeing in pictures, it's right there. So the old vertical was there, it got damaged by the hangar door. After seeing the hangar door, I'm not surprised. but we have it there. We'll take that with us. Maybe we'll give that away or something. This right wing looks good. Look what, like, literally what the groundhog did. Right wingtip. This looks good. The lenses look good. I don't see any big dings or dents on any of the surfaces. How do those look, Joe?
Good. Looks real good in there.
Yeah,
got
wow.
good rubber
2,300 hours. There's barely any hours on this thing. With these older Comanches and a lot of the older Pipers, they were completely zinc chromated when they were apart and then assembled. So they're actually one of the best airframes that you can get that you can pretty much count on there being minimal corrosion. If you look at the tires there, we'll take a closer look, but they don't really look too bad. Underside of the wing doesn't look bad at all. Belly's missing a good amount of paint, but I don't really see any corrosion or anything. I believe this did have a gear up at one time, which I think most any airplane that you get that's, 60 years old had a gear up at one time. You can see here on the front tire, I mean, we're gonna have to replace this for sure, just even for its maiden flight. We'll probably end up replacing all three. But yeah, you can see this one definitely has lots of dry cracking. Good tread, not good for dry cracking. All right, let's take a look under the hood. All right, so we got a 0540 carbureted. Actually, doesn't look too bad. All these hoses, they feel good. They're flexible. I don't see anything alarming. I don't see any wear marks. I don't see any wires rubbed through. This is a really old overhaul. I think I saw in the books the overhaul was back in 1979, I think, and it was from a prop strike. The prop, this is newer, not many hours on it.
You notice something though? There's no bird's nest in there.
I know, all the birds were on top and nothing inside. So we have blue mark cylinders. I think the blue was iron, which isn't good because we are on a dirt floor and we are in New York and Lake George is right around the corner. So we'll find out. Obviously, we'll pull this all apart and we'll look down the cylinders, we'll scope them, we'll get some lubrication, kind of do the normal deal. How's that look over there, Joe?
Not bad.
Looks like an engine.
Not bad at all.
The baffling, it looks like someone put some baffling on at one time and it's got some old baffling. We got
Really
this
cute.
nice little cute brake. Can airplane stuff be cute, Joe?
Well, when it's that small, yeah.
Looks like there was some exhaust work done at one time, but it doesn't look bad. I did see this in some pictures, so I was a little bit worried about it. It looked really, really rusty, but it looks like it's surface rust. Engine mount, again, dirty, but looks solid. I don't see any rust on it. Of course, sitting so long, these mags, they're going to need replaced for sure as far as flying it. I think to get it started today, I don't think we're going to have a problem there, but we'll see. There could be corrosion in there and everything else. Just because it looks good on the outside doesn't mean that it's going to look good on the inside. That thing could be full of corrosion. It could have rusted bearings, and that whole shaft assembly and everything easily could be locked up. So when you look at something, just because it looks good when you look at it, doesn't mean it looks good everywhere else.
Never judge a mag by its wires.
But yeah, everything looks good here.
Must be out of oil because I don't see a wet spot.
Yeah, I don't see any dripping anywhere.
I always said airplanes are like Harleys,
Yeah.
if they're not leaking.
They're not leaking, there's no oil in it. Actually, now that you mention it, let's check the oil just in case. Let's see if there's any in it. Oh, she's got oil. It looks brand new.
Pretty clean.
Yeah, it looks like brand new oil. I'm pretty sure it was annualed and, kind of parked. That happens a lot. A lot of the airplanes that end up getting parked, they get annualed for the last time and they get parked. Yeah,
Or they start the annual, find an issue, then it gets parked.
Joe, come on now. We don't want that to be the case for this one. Awesome. Let's check out the interior. It's got a brand new release, so that tells me that somebody broke this at one time, because if you muscle these too much, they will break.
That sounded pretty good. It sounded like
It sounded
seal's
really
still in
good.
there, yeah. Joe, you brought the key for the airplane, right?
Oh, wait. Oh, I was getting nervous. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, look at that. Well, I don't smell mouse pee.
That's a good sign.
I don't smell bird.
Another good sign.
This is definitely not our airplane.
Get out. Let's go home.
We got an old King ADF. We have Collins comms. These are the same Collins comms that were in 00 Whiskey. Actually works really good. And I'll tell you, this panel here is really clean. Like, there is nothing rubbed off here. Again, this thing only has 2,300 original hours. The owner, Dick, he had owned this, I believe, for like 49 years. And he started this airport and he ended up donating this airplane. But you can tell that he took care of it. I mean, really getting in here, you have the normal stuff that just wears out. The leather and, you know, just the paint and stuff. But it looks really good in here. Looks like we got a good...
The heck is that?
This is the 1980s pilot torture device. So I believe this goes on your head, and this is what you pull down in front of your eyes to practice IFR.
It's like blinders on a horse.
I don't know. What do you think that is, Joe? I think that's what it is.
I couldn't tell you.
It definitely looks like it goes on your head. Like, I don't know.
So you got a little bit of a bad sign here. We have some remnants from a mouse making a nest with some mouse poop. Yeah, you can see how there was a mouse back in here. Got the registration and we got the airworthiness certificate. Very important. Got some really cool sunglasses. All right, pretty much that's it. But you can definitely tell there was a mouse in here. Hopefully that mouse is going. I don't smell mouse pee again, so that makes me feel a little bit better. But yeah, look at the lettering. And if you look at just even the lettering up on the panel, and you got 530. I'm sure it's not a Wasp, but it's a 530. And it does have the Sentry 2B, so you got heading. You got roll control that'll do heading. If I don't think it has GPSS, but you know, you get your nav, your Omni, your heading. Yeah, you can even reverse course and everything else. So yeah, looks really good. All right, let's check these out. Ready? Elevator.
Yep.
You got movement.
Good. Oh, it's smooth. Roll right. Roll left.
Yep.
Yeah, it's smooth. Cool. I mean, really, the only thing that I saw is a little bit of mouse nest material. You know, it looked like a mouse was tearing some stuff apart at one point, but given the dirt floor and everything else, I mean, you just kind of have to expect it. But if you look in the interior, I mean, other than the seats, which are just old and wore out, carpet doesn't look bad. I mean, it's a 2,300 hour airplane. And I again, the engine was overhauled by Lycoming. It was Lycoming new, I think in 79. I think it only has like 700 hours on it. But it does have the steel cylinders, so I'm a little worried about what it looks like inside. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to get in. We are going to get some power. I think Joe has a jumper box over there. We're going to power it up with the jumper box because I don't think there was a battery in here. And we're going to get inside and we're going to see how those avionics work, or if those avionics work. All right, let's see what we got back here.
The interior just skin in there looks pretty good.
It does look pretty good. Oh, we got a nice flight computer here. Got some towels. We got some more sunglasses under there. And the battery is removed. The tail actually looks brand new. Got the Collins computer in there. This looks really, really good under here. The Comanche in Arizona, the battery box was a little questionable. Some of the electronics in the back, the solenoids looked pretty old. This one looks really good. Do you want to hook up the jumper pack to that? It's so clean back there. Like when you look at it, it's hard to show on camera, but the zinc chromate's not even, like, it gets a little wore off usually. It's not even wore off. It looks really good. Battery box, perfect condition. Let's see what we got with battery power. All right, Joe, do you want to turn it on?
Turn it on.
Go ahead. All right, let's hit the master.
Oh, I see a light.
Yeah, we got a gear down.
Well, that's a good sign.
I don't hear anything else firing up. Let me see if it has a switch for the avionics. All the breakers are on. Normally you'd hear... here we go. Avionics master. The glide slope indicator is moving. I still don't hear the gyros spinning up yet, so they might be a little stuck. That's your nav source. All right, let's turn these on, see if the 530 comes on. Turning bank.
Yeah, something clicking in the back.
Yeah, it's a master.
Solenoid. All right, let's try some of the lights here. Let's see what we have. I'm going to hit the rotating beacon.
Yep, there it goes.
All right, that's rotating. Lights right.
I see the front light.
All right.
I don't see the side light though.
Yeah, that's a different...
That's
Strobe
nav.
Or nav.
I'm going to try the left.
Yep. Yep, I got it.
All right. All right, so nav lights, lights up the panel.
Yep, there it is. And the tail lights are on.
Okay. All right, so all the nav lights work. Turn that off. For some reason, the avionics are not coming on. We're hooked up to the actual post and everything, Joe, in there. Okay. When I turn the avionics master switch, the COM1 breaker is gone. And I think the nav2
It's tripping the breaker.
is it's tripping as well. Okay. So we do have a problem with the COM1 breaker and the COM2 breaker. Almost would guarantee that it's probably going to be something chewed. I'll bet you a mouse got to something and there's just something chewed, or there's a bad ground, but there's definitely something going on. We have a little bit of brake fluid here in the floor, I'm sure from the master cylinders for the brakes. This is a bad sign. I really don't like electrical problems. I mean, it's one of the usually toughest things to deal with. So turn and bank, that's not coming on. So it's going to be something to do with this master switch. Maybe there's a short in the switch, which would be really, really nice, but I'm not sure. All right, let's try the fuel pump.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it sounds healthy too.
Yeah, clicking away.
Almost sounds like it's still got prime.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's actually priming up, and we're starting to get fuel pressure on the gauge, so that's good. Check the flaps. Are we clear of the flaps?
Yep. Nice smooth action.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All the way down, good?
Yep.
All right, coming back up. Clear?
Yeah, nice and smooth.
Nice.
No clicking.
Did
no
they retract
clacking.
all the way?
Yep.
Yeah, looks like it.
Nice. Perfect.
All right, fire up.
Let's pull her out.
Fire in the hole. Right now it looks like we have a working fuel pump. We don't have a working COM1 or COM2. That would be the 530 and the Collins. We're going to dig into that later. But now let's get up here in the engine. Let's dig into the engine and see what those cylinders are looking like. I have a feeling they're going to look good. So I hope. I really hope. Especially after finding those avionics issues. I can tell the spark plug hasn't been out of here in a while, so a lot of times if I'm trying to pull a plug out, you know, they're helicoiled into the cylinder, and you can get rust down on the bottom side that's inside the cylinder, and if you just yank it out, you know, chances are you're going to mess up the threads.
Spit on it. Give it the old Hawk Tui.
Oh, that'll get it out. All right, let's take a look at this first plug. Ooh. Uh-oh. It's not what I wanted to see. So it's actually oily.
I'm okay with that.
I don't see rust.
Yeah,
So
I'm okay with that.
oily is, I feel, better than rusty. So if it was rusty and full of like a dry rust, that's very bad. Spark plug number 2, better.
That's a little cleaner.
Yeah, no rust on there whatsoever. It's just a little bit of carbon, no oil.
I'm not always afraid of rust anymore, though, either, after the Cirrus.
Well, the Cirrus isn't rescued yet, so let's not.
Yeah, but those cylinders look great.
You better knock on some wood over there. In like 2 weeks, I think we ferry that thing out, and there was a lot more wrong with that than what I was expecting.
Well, that was scary when we looked at those plugs.
Yeah.
Until we scoped it.
Ooh. Yeah, so that's kind of the same thing as that number 1 plug. It does have a little bit of fluid on there. Now, some of that can be Croyle too, but I don't see dry rust. What do you think? What's your guess? What kind of condition is this engine in, David? If you guys didn't recognize David, David flew us up here in a 55 Baron. That was the first time I was in a Baron.
And flew home the Warrior, right?
Yeah, he flew home the Warrior.
I'm gonna crawl in the back, take a nap out now.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. I'll wake you up with my landing.
Yeah, right.
And ever since wouldn't fly with me again. No, I'm just kidding. So, and then we flew the Baron up here today, and I think it flew really good.
Not bad.
Yeah, that one looks pretty good. That one's not really oily or anything. A little bit.
Joe, did you get the better side again?
Well, it was scary coming out because it was tight for a while.
Was it?
Yeah.
Did you lube it?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
That's pretty good, too.
Pretty good. He always takes the easy side. I think he like scopes out the area first.
He was here last night.
And he like,
He ripped it all apart, scoped the cylinders. He knew what side was going to
I'm
be
taking the
easier.
easy side. Isn't that more work though than just showing up and picking a side, Joe? You're such a tryhard. If you guys look, this is literally what I was saying. So this is going to be the part, that last thread that was exposed in the cylinder that gets rusted. So when you're pulling them out, you get a crank or two out. That's what gets stuck in the threads. If you get some coil or penetrant, whatever you like, down on the threads, let it creep down in there before you pull it the rest of the way out.
Loosen all that up.
It loosens that up, yeah. If you guys remember the 401 when I was out, you and I were out doing that, Corey. Like there was three threads down in the cylinder in that.
I bet you we went through a can of oil.
Oh my gosh! And I was freaking really wrenched on
that thing, yeah.
Yeah.
This looks really new too. The whole
Yeah. Yeah, we were just looking at the prop, and I know we're looking at the engine, but we were looking at the prop. I remember looking at logbooks. The prop only has like 60 some hours. It was new a number of years ago. So the last time this Comanche was annualed, according to the books, is 2016. The folks around here said that it was annualed, but they didn't think that it's flown for a lot longer than that. So I believe for a number of years it was kept in annual, up until 16 anyways. After I saw that, it made me a little bit more confident that we weren't going to get too bad of, let me do that again, too bad of issues. What do you think, Joe? You want to scope these?
Yeah.
Check them out?
I'm interested to see what these cylinders
What do you
look
think?
like.
Let's take a vote. What do we think the cylinder's going to look like? Corey, you get to go first.
They're all going to be really good, except for number 6. Number 6 is going to be completely ruined.
Terrible. How about you, Joe?
I think they're all going to look pretty darn good because the rest of the airplane looks pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Cylinder 3 is going to be in the low 60s.
When we didn't get to the compression test yet. These darn pilots always getting ahead of us.
Jumping ahead.
No, I'm just kidding.
Other ones will be in the 70s though.
Yeah. I have a feeling that, so we are going to compression test this. We decided to start doing that now. This is a cold, not ran in years compression test, so they're going to be low. But we're going to check them all, and we'll see where they're at because we have to let the crew know that's coming in behind us to get this thing airworthy exactly where they're at. Saves them a little bit of time. Also gives them an idea of what they got to bring along. Joe, do you want to get the compressor fired up? And I'll get this out a while. Gotta love that.
Nice little portable compressor.
Yeah. It's too bad they're not a sponsor. They should be. Yeah. We're going to put like Rebuild Rescue over top of all the name brands.
We could tell them your name could be here.
Yeah. There we go. I love that. All right.
How's that fluid level look?
Here's a
What
flashlight.
level?
It ain't got no gas in it.
Oh wait.
She empty.
I think it's on the floor of the airplane.
That's your problem right there. Ain't got no fluid in it.
Brakes don't work. That's okay.
It's just got a coating of red on the bottom.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine. That's good. I did notice, if you guys remember, in the floor there was, you could tell it was nice and lubricated there. So,
Oh, that's what it's for.
it's for stopping
Rust.
rust. It's
On the
rust
floor.
inhibitor. No wonder there's no rust in here or corrosion. All right, let's check cylinder 1. We will see what it looks like. I can see a little tiny bit of surface rust right there. Definitely some oil like kind of at the bottom of the cylinder. There's part of the crosshatch there. You see it coming down through there. It's got good crosshatch in the cylinder. There's barely any carbon on top of the piston.
Yeah, that top of the piston
Looks
great.
like, I think it's one of the best tops of pistons other than a new engine that I've seen. I'm gonna check cylinder 5. It doesn't look bad. I mean, you can tell it's a steel cylinder. You know, it's not as shiny as the chrome was like on the Comanche in Arizona, but this really doesn't look bad. What do you think, guys?
I think she's ready to fire up.
Pretty good for sitting for that long.
All right, let's rotate it so we can drop this piston on number 3. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, wait a second, stop. Wow, look at the side of that valve. Actually, the seat of the valve, I should say, if you look there in the corner. Looks really good. No corrosion, no rust. This cylinder looks good. No rust, no glaze, no nothing. That looks really good. Go ahead and give it a full rotation over if you could. Stop. Oh yeah, these look good. So just pulling that prop through a little bit and having the piston move up and down in there, there was like a little bit, almost looked like rust, but it was a little bit more of like a sludge. It's gone. I mean, it's 100% gone. Right now, all you can see on the cylinder is shiny goodness.
We like to see shiny goodness.
Yeah, with like some cross hatches. Yeah, looks good. Let's check the other side. All right, cylinder 2. See the crosshatch there. You can see at the top of the ring land, and this is so normal. If you look up in here, that's where the ring does not hit. And really the piston really doesn't hit either. Right here's where the ring ends when it comes up. You can see the crosshatch. You can see some staining here, but it's not rust. It's not corrosion. We'll check number 4. Look at the valve there, the valve seat. That looks good, no rust. Oh man, it's really good. It looks really good. What do you think, Joe?
Told you so.
Yeah. So it has a little, like, again, there's a little bit of light stuff right there.
That'll clean
But
right off.
so this is what that is. This is carbon right there.
That'll just burn off when we start it up.
It will. All right, let's check cylinder 6. And who
Moment of
said
truth.
who
Number
said cylinder
6.
6 was going to be bad?
Moment of truth. Let's see.
Go ahead and rotate it down a little bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one's ruined.
Yeah,
Get rid of it.
totally ruined. That's it.
Get
Corey,
rid of
take this off and put a new one on.
Uh-oh, I don't know if you want that.
No, it looks really good.
I'm surprised. They all look
Yeah,
pretty darn good.
Everything looks good. So yeah, so they're good. I don't know. Obviously, like the inside of the engine. Usually, it's every one that I've done so far. If the cylinders are good, the cam's been good. I've had 2 so far over the last 2.5 years. Cylinders were bad, and you could see right away, cam was bad. And the cam wasn't ruined. It was a little bit bad. We replaced them anyway.
Hitting and
But it pretty much goes hand in hand. I don't know what you guys have experienced before, but that's been our luck so far, and hopefully that's the way that this one stays as well.
knock on cylinder.
Knock on cylinder. Hopefully it stays. Oh, we got to actually lube this up. Oh, we didn't bring two-stroke or anything. Well,
Time to use some Campbell's soup in the back there.
no, I'm not trusting that. I think we're just going to put a little crow in there. It's been a long time since this thing's been fired up. And the last thing we want to do is dry start it. Got it? Mm-hmm. All right, let me pull this through a little bit. Put that in there. Make sure it gets all in the cylinders. All right, so we got plenty of lubricant inside the cylinders. Now we're just going to go around the rest of the airplane. Like pretty much anything that we have a feeling is going to come off, we're going to croil. We'll probably use pretty much the whole can of croil.
Pretty much anything that
On
moves
the
on the
airplane.
airplane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, did we just cross streams?
You had to go and make it weird.
I'm gonna go through and make sure we get a little air in the tires. They look
Using
a
our
little.
handy dandy portable compressor.
Yeah, it's a really good compressor, but your name could be here.
Tire just goes boom.
Shut up, Corey.
Might be able to get away with these mains.
I think the mains are going to be good. I think it's just this front one we're going to have to do.
They look fairly new.
Yeah, no, they look good. The front one's dry. Those there look like they were new at some point more recently.
They took air pretty well.
Yeah.
Pumped right up.
None of them were completely flat, so.
Yeah, they were still holding.
Yeah, it feels really good. Belt looks good. All right, so we got everything lubricated. We got the tires aired up while we're waiting for that lubricant inside the cylinders to set. We're going to pop a compression gauge on here. We're going to check the compression of all the cylinders and see where it's at. Doing a compression test can really tell a story about the health of an engine, especially one that hasn't ran for so long. We checked the compressions, and surprisingly, even after sitting for years, I couldn't believe it. They were all good. So we're going to turn the engine over. We had the plugs out, and we're going to build some oil pressure without any compression in the engine so it doesn't damage anything. All right, we got juice. Hopefully this turns over. Hopefully the starter works. Ready? Yep. Clear. Not enough juice. We had the same problems with the one in Arizona.
I know.
We'll just bypass them probably.
On the one out there was a secondary. Oh, it's down here. All right. Secondary relay.
There's like very minimal amounts of places to clamp things onto. Ready?
Yep.
Clear? Nah.
Something.
Yeah.
Let's throw in a breaker.
He's throwing a breaker. Joe, if you could, please put it back on the back pole. Leave the ground where it is and put the hot on the pole there. Might want to turn the thing off.
Joe picks his head out.
Go ahead.
All of his hair is
All right, master's on. Is it clear? Yeah, it's just popping the breaker. All right, go ahead and unhook it. Well, that's a bad sign.
That's a little bit of a bummer.
Electrical. Were you welding back here, Joe?
I should have turned the box off like I always do, but I didn't.
I've done that before. I just didn't have any witnesses.
There is the other solenoid up here.
Yeah.
Directly to that, maybe.
That's not telling us what our issue is and why it's popping the breaker, though.
Do we have anything, a bucket I can set
Yeah.
this on? Clear. Hey, that works really good when you're that close together.
Well, I guess I'll be the starter button.
Why does this not seem like the sketchiest thing we've done, but it still seems a little sketchy?
It's called improvising.
So we improvising,
flow.
Americanizing.
Yeah.
So there's a short. There's a short in the electrical system. We're not sure where it is. If any of you guys have ever dealt with like electrical systems and shorts and stuff like that, like it
I would have to
could be a
assume
ground issue. It could be all kinds of stuff.
it would be a signal wire to here.
So we have the avionics
Yeah.
too. But so we have multiple breakers popping. So I would almost guarantee somewhere in here a rat had lunch, or a beaver, I don't know, according to the ground here, a groundhog, had lunch on some of the wires, I think is what we're going to find. But we still want to see if we can get oil pressure. We still want to get this primed. And we still need to fire it up today because we need to make our list. And we need to know that this thing starts. And then we need to get back here with all the parts. And I can tell you now, the list of parts to get this thing flying is getting pretty long. All right, Joe.
Ready?
You ready? Everybody clear?
Clear.
There it goes. Man, that just jumped up pretty quick.
All right.
Give the starter a rest.
Yep.
Let it go down, and then we'll turn over some more.
What did it come up to?
50.
Whoa.
Yeah, on the starter. But I would say that's probably the fastest spinning starter that I've seen to date. Let's do it. Yeah, she's good.
That starter's got some power.
She's good. It has juice rate literally to the starter that way. So
All right, so I guess what we're ready to put some plugs back in, ain't we?
yeah, let's get the plugs in. And
Moment of truth.
see how sketchy we want to get. How many rebuild rescue people does it take to tighten 3 spark plugs?
Apparently 4.
Apparently 4. Well, 1 person to do it and 3 people. 1 person to film it and 2 people to talk about it and make noises.
Comment on it. Yeah.
You know, I was almost ready to pull this out and to try to fire this up, but then I realized we need to check the fuel.
Oh, that's a
Wow, that's actually in really good shape.
Wow. Never seen a fuel cap like that.
Yeah, so this is the
It's a pull plug.
Comanche. Yeah, it's like for your pool or your bathtub.
Yeah.
So yeah, they also work for airplanes apparently. But that's in really good shape. Yeah, we got about, I'd say, 4 inches of fuel.
How does it smell?
Bladders look good. It's a little green instead of being
A little stale.
blue. It's a little green instead. So I think that's pretty much par for the course. Cap's in good shape. This thing's full. It's almost full to the top.
Oh, wow.
Everything looks good. Yeah, she looks good. Cap looks good. Yeah, it's about half full. Looks good. All right, bladders look good. There's fuel in there. Could you go in and switch the fuel tanks? To check the fuel tanks, you actually got to switch it on the one tank for the main, check it,
From the gas
switch it on the other tank, and then check it from the same place underneath the airframe, right at the gasculator. Let's go right wing.
Right main?
Yep. I forget, where the hell's it at?
Wasn't it under a panel right there under the belly?
Why am I not seeing the door? It was right here in the other one.
Yeah.
I don't know where the sump is. All right, so I was trying to kind of figure out what the difference would be, and some airplanes literally have like a drain pull. The 235 has one. You literally pull it, and it comes out from underneath the airplane. I guess to see if there's water in it, you would put a can underneath it and then pull it that way. So, yeah, so it's right down here. You push aft to drain.
That looked blue.
Coming out the middle.
How's it look?
Good.
Looks blue?
Yeah.
Ish. All right.
I'd say a little bit more green, but
All right, let's go in the left main. Coming out?
Yeah.
All right.
Looks good.
Let's go on the left ox. Draining?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Let's
Got a little
go.
hue to it.
Let's go on the right ox. Ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
One of the cool things, if you look here too, it has a button that you push for each tank to see how much fuel is in it. Fuel quantity is right here, and I believe to check your fuel quantity, you push each of these buttons, and it's going to show you here. So it's got one gauge and buttons that you push to see. That's how you save money when putting gauges in an airplane.
Hey, well, why buy 4 gauges when you can buy 1?
Yeah. All right, so we know it's sumping. That is like the weirdest thing ever. I had no idea. Like the 59 Comanche we have is totally different. All right, now with that, we know we do have fuel. It is flowing. It is old fuel, but it's old leaded fuel, and it's clean leaded fuel. So we are going to pull this sucker out and see if we can fire it up.
Oh, yeah. It's not a will it start without a start.
It's a going to start one way or the other.
Is there a parking brake?
No, there's a dent in the wood brake. There we
wood
go.
chalk.
I didn't know we brought you along for sound effects. You're doing a good job. I guess we pointed this way a little bit. You're right.
Comanche sees the sun for the first time in 68 years.
Nice.
Looks like a nice soft spot.
All right, let's chalk these tires. So when you're faced with something like this, you have two decisions. You can either hand prop it, or you can rig a jumper pack directly to the solenoid for the starter and turn a switch.
I don't know. Hand propping it sounds a little bit more fun.
Just so you know, this is safer than hand propping it 100%, because my hand is going to be nowhere near that thing.
I don't want my hands near it as well.
No. You good? You're good. All right, so we have everything chalked.
Ain't gonna go nowhere.
Ain't gonna go nowhere. And at the most, you know, obviously I'll have the brakes.
I can't think of a single thing that could possibly go wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
I could
Not
think
a-
of several.
Well, just film from right out in front of it. Yeah, that's the
Directly in
best
front of
thing.
the
Yeah,
prop.
yeah.
I'll stand with you, Joe. Solidarity. I'll stand on the other side.
We have Joe out there on the starter. I'm inside here, the controls. We're just gonna fire this thing up. We're gonna see if it runs. I'll check the mags and stuff. And yeah, see if it fires up. Okay, all the controls work. They're all smooth. So one of the things we need to do when we fire it up is we do need to see if the amps actually come on and just make sure everything's working. We have a lot of work to do to this thing yet, but I was just looking up here. Look at that panel. Like, now that we're out here in the light, look at how clean. Man, this thing's actually in really good shape. I fall in love with like every single airplane that I get into. All right, I have it on both, so both mags. So the starter breaker is pulled, so it's pulled out of the system. Basically, Joe, we're gonna just turn it over. When it fires up, just turn off the starter, and I'll control from in here. Ready? Go ahead.
Clear prop.
Go ahead. All right. Yeah. All right, so it took some turning, but it fired up. We got excellent oil pressure. We got good fuel pressure from the mechanical pump, and we can't see if it's charging or not because I don't have the battery hooked up. So yeah, and it like started idling right away. Our EGT is working. Manifold pressure is working. I'm gonna do a little mag check. Because I don't have good shock training, I'm not gonna do anything more than a idle check. The mag's definitely weak as I was switching it over. The plugs do need cleaned. I'm gonna try to operate the prop a little bit. All right, prop kicked in right away. Actually sounds so good. Prop's good. Prop works good. Everything seems to be working well. I'm gonna shut her down.
That's how it be sometimes.
That's just coil.
Yeah.
So, and if you can hear, the gyro actually started working it as well. It just needed a little bit of vacuum and a little bit of shaking.
A little wiggle free.
That's all.
It's ready for night IFR.
Got a little bit of smoke.
All coil.
All coil, probably
Yeah.
burning off. That was smooth.
Yeah.
That was real smooth. I'm impressed.
So as quiet as this thing ran, remember when we were kids, we had loud cars, we had to push them out of the driveway to sneak out at night so your parents didn't wake up? You could fly this out. You could fly this out. Yeah.
No problem.
So smooth and quiet.
All I really need is airspeed and engine instruments.
What are your thoughts?
I don't know. There's just so many things I'm like contemplating. I mean, there's so many things that we got to fix before this thing flies. I mean, it's a huge list. When these things sit that long, you're going to have issues, and it's going to be a long list. So if you want to rescue airplanes, it's not as easy as it looks all the time. A lot goes into it. We have months in every single one. And there's a lot of planning, and it's a big expense, but really excited about this one. I'm excited about the impact it's going to make on all of aviation for a lot of years. So we're going to make our lists. We're going to get on the computer and order a ton of parts and get this thing flying. All right, so we got back here to the hangar, and I have the prop off the Comanche here. Although this thing only has like 100 hours on it, from new, it's timed out per an AD that's on these props. So that kept us really from being able to finish the annual on the Comanche and fly it over to the school. So we're gonna load this thing up. It's going over for overhaul. Then we get it back up there and we'll get that thing flying once again. And unfortunately, that means a few $1,000s more to get the Comanche flying, but that's okay because now it's gonna have a brand new prop on it. And I think I have a plan on where we'll use this later on as well. So guys, thank you so much for coming on this rescue. And when you get a chance, check out Wings of Hope. They have a raffle where I think it's like every 6 months they raffle an airplane off. I think it's like $100 a ticket or $275 for 3 tickets. Check them out. Right now, they're raffling off a PA-28-235. It's a really nice airplane, and they're a great foundation that helps a lot of people in the community. Until the next rescue, take care.